What's up, guys? It's your friend Dave Val, and I'm here with my man,
JBB. What's up, everybody?
He doesn't like any of these blue cards that you see in front of you.
I see Lightning Bolt. That's a pretty good one.
Guys, but check it out. We are going to do a quick Paper Magic deck tech on Blue Red Delver. I know a whole lot of these don't exist anymore. Everyone's on Moto, Arena, but we like Paper Magic. Arena. But we like Paper Magic. That's not to say we won't also do Moto content as we have already done. However, we are going to do some deck teching on Blue Red Delver. So let's quickly get the lands out of the way since they are in the glary spot of our mat here. Of course, you always want 4 Scalding Tarns. It's Blue Red Delver. Not having Scalding Tarn seems like a bad idea. What do you think?
I think Scalding Tarn is okay because it gets red.
It gets red. Gotcha. Now we also have 3 Polluted Deltas.
I mean, those are great. They get black.
They do get black. I don't have black in the deck, though.
That's just cheating.
But the best part is all 7 of these fetches, of course, get our 2 Volcanic Islands. We do just run 2 Volcanic Islands. I know Ren and 6 isn't a thing in Legacy anymore. However, I still prefer just a 2 Volcanic build. We do run for a 3rd duel. We run a Fiery Islet. Now, if I didn't have the Fiery Islet, it would be a 3rd Volcanic. But this draw effect has actually helped me in many a games as I've played through this deck, so I actually prefer the Islet in the deck.
I mean, it's a good card. Being able to draw is always nice. I thought you did that in blue anyway.
I mean, that's what you do. We just add more to it. Look, it's something that has red and it draws.
I mean, that's a lie.
Of course, we run the 4 Wasteland package because we don't like opponents having dual lands. And then for basics, we have 1 Mountain, Pokemon mana, and then 3 Pokemon Islands as well.
Yeah, I think the Pokemon lands are actually very pretty. I know it's a little bit polarizing, but that artwork is just beautiful.
I agree. Very, very nice stuff.
Birthday and foil.
So for the total count of lands, I actually run a smaller package, a lot run 20. As you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I only run 18 lands on my Delver build.
No, that's what happens when everything costs 1 mana.
Some do run 19, some do run 20. I found that 18 works fantastic for me, so I've been a fan of running 18. Now, getting into the actual package, since I'm only running 18 lands instead of 19, I'm running 2 Chain Lightnings instead of 1. I like the extra targetable burn on top of the 4 Lightning Bolts. So we actually have 6 1 mana, 3 damage bolt effects right there, which I think really go to help the deck quite a bit. Plus, it's just more cards to flip our buddy.
Well, not only that, the red card that's important, the Dreadhorde Arcanist, is fantastic with Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning.
It 100% is. So we do run, as he just mentioned, 4 Dreadhorde Arcanist. They cast Chain Lightning, they cast Lightning Bolt, they cast our 4 package of Ponders, they cast our package of 4 Brainstorms, and our package of 3 Preordains.
Because why don't you need 3 cards to do the exact same thing?
Well, we need to make sure that our Delver flips. So we run the 3 Preordains, the 4 Brainstorms, and the 4 Ponders, because of course we want Delver to flip. I'm sure you guys know what Delver is, but of course with Delver, at the beginning of your upkeep, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery, he becomes a 3/2 amazing dude.
Yeah, he's the one that put Ren and 6 in the ban list.
I mean, you don't think there were other reasons, like Ren and 6 in Wasteland?
Yes, the 4 card combo. How will Legacy ever deal with a 4 card combo?
How would they do that? I don't know. Now, we do not like our opponents actually being able to play Magic as well. So we do run 4 Force of Wills.
Free spells are good spells.
That's correct.
And only in blue. And
these are not Force of Will, but these are Willin's Craft. And that way, every time we counterspell something with Force of Will, we can go 9!
Well, you can.
No. We also run 4...
9.
We also run a 4-pack of Dazes because, again, we don't like people playing cards that they actually have in their deck, and we don't like paying for spells. So the 4 Force of Wills, the 4 Dazes.
Well, we're not done with 3 spells.
We also don't... I mean, we really don't like people playing their own cards, so we also run a single Force of Negation.
Why not 3 cards to do the exact same thing for no mana?
Well, there's 9 cards that are 4 Force Wills and a Force of Negation, and then even Daze.
I'm just saying
it's a soft counter. I get it.
You know, Daze, Force of Will, Force of Negation. It's 3 cards that are counter spells that don't cost any mana.
That's right.
And then you have Brainstorm, Ponder, and Preordain, which are draw spells that cost 1 mana and get you 3 cards.
Right. Now the beauty, let me point you to something. The absolute beauty of having 9 spells that you don't actually have to pay mana to cast is that does leave us a little bit of mana to cast a couple of spell pierces. So we figure every once in a while we may actually want to spend mana to counter something, so we'll run a couple of spell pierces just to make it seem fair.
Well, the nice thing about Spell Pierce, and Spell Pierce is really on the rise over a lot of the other counter spells like Flusterstorm, because you know what Spell Pierce hits? Planeswalkers.
It does, in fact, hit Planeswalkers. So we since we have so much extra mana, since we don't really pay for anything, that we'll run a couple of Spell Pierces.
Well, that's why you only need to run 18 lands in a 60-card deck.
That's true. Now, we do run 3 Young Peasies. We do love the Young Peasy because all those 1-drop spells, and believe it or not, even the free spells, they create beautiful, beautiful tokens like this one right here.
They're so pretty with my Plague Engineer.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Well, the Plague Engineer, you're going to name it on human. You're not going to name Elemental.
Depends on how many elementals you got by the time I get one to cast and you not counter it.
Right. But anyway, we cast all those instants and sorceries, and our Young Peasy is spitting elementals all day.
That is a really nice token elemental like that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm showing it off.
That one's foil. I'm just saying.
We run a single Grim Lavamancer. This isn't a very common card in this build, but on a serious note, you throw a lot of stuff into the graveyard, a lot of fetches, a lot of stuff like Spell Pierce, Force of Will, Negation, things like that you're not actually going to, recast with your Dreadhorde Arcanist. So Grim Lavamancer turns those into a little bit of direct damage. Grim Lavamancer has done very, very well for me in this deck since I started running him. I'm a big fan of keeping him in there now that I've played with him.
I just want to say I think that's a bit of a meta choice as well. I've been playing a lot of the Lightning Skelementals lately, and that 2 damage at instant speed sucks.
I mean, that's true. And then we are running a 2-pack of Brazen Borrowers, probably one of the best things that happened to Blue Red Delver in a long time. It has basically an Echoing Truth effect on it, bounces something. You can also turn it into a 3/1 flyer with flash. It only blocks other flying creatures, but it's a very, very, very good card in this deck, and I think it's really kind of put this deck over the top.
Well, that used to be a true name nemesis, remember?
I did. In this build, I used to run these as 2 TNNs, so I agree.
I mean, it's just puts you another evasion creature, so it puts you on the same clock because it's a 3/1 and allows you to bounce something, so it's even more control on top of everything. They found a way to make something better than a protection from target player.
Exactly.
I will also take note that that is the only blue card in your deck that does not cost 1 mana or less.
Is it?
Yes.
I didn't really pay attention. Now, for sideboard options, we do run a pair of Abrades. Abrade is really good because it's still direct damage. You can't recast it with your Dreadhorde Arcanist, but it also destroys an artifact. So, that Chalice on 1, Abrade costs 2. It really does help out in a situation where you're fighting a Chalice. Now, the Brazen Borrower is going to give you like a 1-turn, get rid of the Chalice on 1 by bouncing it, but...
And hope you have one of your 15 million counter spells in your hand.
Right. But bringing in the Abrade, I definitely would do against Chalice decks. Now, a non-common sideboard option, we do run a 1 of a Fry. The reason I like Fry is it's uncounterable. See, I like countering other people's spells, but I don't like it when they do it to me. So we bring in a Fry that's uncounterable. It deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker that's white or blue. It's really good for like Teferi, the Teferi that they printed in the Hearthstone game and then brought over to Moto.
Yeah.
Brought over the Magic.
That is the War of the Spark Teferi to Time Raveler.
Right.
Since you forgot the name of the card, I guess I'll bail you out.
I didn't forget the name of the card.
You said Teferi, the one from...
No. I was just pointing out that it's the card that came from Hearthstone that they moved into Magic. I know his name. I forgot the name of Hearthstone for a second is why I was going,
Well, that's easy to forget. I mean, nobody remembers playing that game, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Since Wizards of the Coast took it over, reskinned it to look like Magic and called it Arena.
I don't know how they called it. How do I not get sued?
All right, we are running a single Null Rod.
I just want to say real quick, I do disagree with you on the Fry. I ran Fry in my sideboard for a little bit, and I found it just wasn't enough. And the real problem was the Okos, because it does not kill Oko, and Oko is an issue.
That's true. I have an option. I have a way to take care of Oko, though. We run 2 Red Elemental Blast and 1 Pyroblast.
I mean, that helps a little.
So
I run those 2, though.
That's fair. I personally still like Fry, but I mean, it's a sideboard card. So we'll give it some more play as time goes on and see how it goes. But I do run 2 beta Red Elemental Blasts, I'm just saying, and a Pyroblast. Those, I love those. Of course, we run a single Sorcerer Spyglass. If we want to turn something off, see what's going on in their hand. If they're playing a combo deck, we'll bring that in.
I brought it up with the last deck tech that we did with Sneak and Show. And one of your big arguments was the Sorcerer Spyglass. Even though it was a 2-drop, you had so many, Ancient Tombs and things like that got you 2 mana. You had the Lotus Petals. This deck doesn't. Why the 2-drop?
I still like being able to see their hand.
I mean, I like it too, but I'm just curious why you didn't do it over Python Needle.
I don't know. I just like seeing their hand. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like it. I don't know.
It's no Gitaxian probe, right?
It's no probe. It's definitely no probe, which is very unfortunate.
I don't think so.
We're going to continue on the path of not allowing our opponents to be able to actually play their cards. So if you notice, the Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast also are counter spells, as are our 2 Flusterstorms. Storm players, we'll bring in Flusterstorm 4. We'll bring in Flusterstorm against counter battles like Sneak and Show, things like that, where we can just kind of blow them out on the fact that now they have to counter 5 spells instead of 1 when we turn it on their show and tell.
Yep.
So I do like Flusterstorm. Now, that's only 5 counter effects in the sideboard. I don't think that's quite enough, so I'm also going to bring in our second Force of Negation. Now, the beauty of Force of Negation is it's another card I don't have to pay for.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the sideboard and I see, 2-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop, 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 2-drop, free.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a pattern with this deck.
Well, the beauty of this is that you get all 2-drops and 1-drops and a bunch of free cards. We don't really need a whole lot of mana, right? No. So once we get to a couple of lands, we're good. So we'll just play a couple of Winter's Orbs in the side just to really turn them on their side.
Yeah, that'll slow the game down. Yeah, that's what this deck needs.
Yep. I mean, Winter's Orb is perfect in this deck because everything's a 1-drop or a 2-drop or free. And so, untapping 1 or 2 a turn is not a big deal for you against, a deck that has a much higher average mana base.
Which is everything that isn't blue.
But, I mean, pretty much, yeah. But now that we have 13 sideboard cards and I have the Winter's Orb, I'm like, well, I don't really want to add more cards into my deck that actually cost me mana.
No, of course not.
Right. So we'll just run a couple of Surgical Extractions for those graveyard decks. We don't have to pay mana for that.
Well, you do need something against Reanimator. You're pretty light against that.
I know, but it's free. That's my point.
It is free. I've got to admit, I do play the Surgical Extractions in my sideboard as well.
Just ban black. It's also JBB.
But black is great. Until you draw 7 cards and refill your hand, and all that hand hate I did and all that work I did with me is completely useless.
I hear you there. So there it is, guys. There is my deck tech for Legacy Blue-Red Delver. I hope that you enjoyed it.
I hope you did too, because I hate playing against it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and do me a favor, subscribe or something.